Here's the other problem with this. At the Berkeley conference, where an investigator, researcher we sent, he said that the group of physicians that came together, researchers from the globe, trying to convince governments to stop fire retardants on children's clothes, which, by the way, is a deadly cancer-causing chemical. Also, we're talking about formaldehydes on 100% natural fiber organic clothes.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And so he said to me, here you are, a health expert, telling people all the hazards. Walk in as we speak on the phone when he was out there. Look in your closet and tell me how many of your cotton shirts, because all I've worn forever is cotton and natural fibers and organic undergarments, how many of them say no iron on them?
Oh, yeah.
The next day I took 6 of my shirts and I threw them away.
Welcome back. I'm speaking with leading health expert and director of the Hippocrates Institute, Dr. Brian Clemente, on Your Supernatural Life here on Green 960. For podcasts of the show, go to yoursupernaturallife.com. So I want to know your opinion about why you think it's so important to eat a raw, living food diet, and how people can actually experience that in this November at up in Calistoga.
Well, we'll start by saying after I've personally worked with 200,000 people and placed the vast majority on not exclusively, but close to, in 100% of the cases, raw diet, I've seen people heal every major cancer you can imagine, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, diabetes, right down the list.
Now, do they have to stay? See, like with myself, I was on a raw food diet 100% for 9 months, and my tumor went away. But now I'm not 100% raw anymore. But I do practice, or eating organic food and all that. Do you think it's necessary as a lifetime kind of goal?
What we do know as scientists is that everyone must maintain a diet that has plants as its basis, that animal foods are not only destructive to your body, they're destructive to the earth we live on. And that's a given. If you look at the brilliant work of the top nutritionist who ever lived, Dr. Colin Campbell, he shows that the number one cause of cancer, as an example, is diet. And the number one dietary cause of it is casein in milk. Organic milk has casein in it. Second, of course, a close second is meats of all kinds, starting from fish right to pork. And so we do know that. We also know that when you eat the diet that every creature on earth was meant to eat, a raw diet, it brings life back into your body, and that life propels the immune system, the circulatory system, the organ functionality, and we've seen this in clinical settings. Unlike other organizations or maybe, quote, health authorities, none of them, and ever in the history of man, other than Hippocrates, has done clinical research on humans that are quite often catastrophically ill or very smart, because half the people that come to us now are serious health seekers. They come to us before they're sick, or they're athletes, or they're movie stars, or they're just people who want to have a change in their life. And we watch what happens, the transformation, and we follow them up. Once a person graduates the Hippocrates program, including the Calistoga 2-week program we're going to conduct now, for the rest of your life for free, we counsel you. So not by phone, you write in, you send in your blood test, your scans, etc., and then we, our medical team, write you back, and we hold your hand and help you through this insane world. But in Boston, we did the work that showed that we must maintain at least a 75% raw diet after we've conquered our disease to maintain health. Nothing wrong with plant-based foods being a little bit cooked, but once we go beyond, listen closely, we go beyond 25% by weight of our diet, by weight, being raw, or cooked, I should say, to 30%, we've now dropped the immune system 17.2% from immunological studies that were conducted at Tufts up in Boston with us. Number two, if you go to from 25%, 1/4 to 35%, now you've dropped the immune system in the mid-40s. So this is going back to support the work that was done in France in the 1930s, where they actually called it a disease called leukocytosis. So the body identifies a cooked food, be it plant-based or not, because of the carbon structure, the same way it would a microbe or a cancer, so it attacks it. Now, your immune system ought not to be taking care of cooked food. It ought to be taking care of the microbes and mutagens. So this is why we have more people that have healed catastrophic disease at Hippocrates and fought the premature aging process than any organization and any healthcare system in the history of humanity. And we win awards for this. And the reality is it's very simple. When I go to teach children, they get this instantly. I say, look, if I go to my backyard and if I pick a vegetable, wash it and eat it, or if I pick a vegetable, cook it and wash it and eat it, which is better? 100% of the kids put their hands up. The one that you don't cook, of course. But somehow we have all of this glorious ignorance that we've created from our intellect that tells us that if you cook it, it's more balanced and it's this and it's that. Every single creature on earth, every single creature, except the animals we've disturbed and domesticated and humans, eat a 100% raw diet. In my expeditions around the globe to visit tribes of people who commonly live above 100, guess what they were eating?
They were eating raw food. It's hard to get children to eat raw food. I mean, I have to just say that I made a raw carrot cake with my daughter, and we made it heart-shaped, and she had the best time grating the carrots and all this, and then one bite wouldn't eat it. So
you've got to understand, just like you and I, we were made addicts by our parents. So if you give a child abnormal foods that have sugars and carbohydrates that break to sugars and high-fat diets, their palate, like your palate and my palate, gets corrupted. And when you give them that food at first, like when I started to eat this food 40 years ago when I was 120 pounds heavier, I smoked 3 packs of cigarettes a day, I was on my way to death in my 20s. And the reality is I hated this food. I just intellectually knew it was good for me because I had known and I understood the chemistry of it, and I had a history and a background in that. The fact of the matter is, within a matter of a year, I then started to look back at those pollutants I used to consider delectable food as, my God, are these things I used to consume and swallow? But
interesting.
That's why your poor daughter. I mean, the first drug pushers I ever met were my parents.
Right.
When I was good, they gave me drugs, and when I wasn't, they took it away, called sugar.
Yeah. Right. No, yeah, it's true. It's a challenge. But now, if people can't get to your institute and they want to do a cleanse, how often do you recommend people, say, doing a raw juice cleanse and colonics and things like that?
Well, again, it depends upon the person. Not everyone listening. You may have some emaciated people out there that I don't think a juice fast is a great thing for them. So I would individualize it. But most of us should really consider, once we have stability in our health, to stop eating solid foods a minimum of 1 day a week. For 38 years, I stopped eating generally on a Tuesday night, and I started eating on a Thursday night again. So in my case, I do that. Now, one thing we do know in mainstream history and science that we all agree on about longevity, reducing the death rate for yourself, is that if you take away 30% of your caloric intake, you'll increase your lifespan by 30%. Now, that's a profound statistic. There's been 27 studies not coordinated together over decades that all come up with the same statistic. So this is one of the reasons you want to do that if you want to live longer. If you're not having fun, eat a lot. Just keep living it up and eat rich food, and you'll go quick. But beyond everything else we're saying to you is a mind and positive thought and purpose and passion and reason are the real core of how we survive and get well. Up there in Calistoga, we've assembled a team of people, and then my wife and I every day will be working and teaching and providing for you what we've learned in 54 years. And it will give people an opportunity to heal a disease or to fight the aging process or to become a better athlete or a better person, because the emotional aspect of this is equally important, if not more important than anything else. Why we eat right is because we like and respect ourselves. Why I was a saboteur, and most of you out there listening have areas of sabotage in your life, is because you loathe or you dislike or you're unhappy. So we use food as a narcotic rather than sustenance and nourishment.
That's fantastic. I look forward to meeting you. I'm going to be there the second week. I'm coming up. I'm going to give raw food another shot.
Wonderful.
And if people want more information, I have an 800 number they can call, 800-842-2125, or they can go to your website. Why don't you give that address?
It's HippocratesInstitute.org. Hippocrates Inst or Hippocrates Institute, HippocratesInst, or fully written, INSTITUTE.org. And you'll get more information. You may want to call one of our program counselors. They're not salespeople, and they can give you more details. I think we are pretty much full. I don't know if there's one or two spots left up there at this point.
Right.
We've had quite a response. And by the way, so I can tell the West Coast this, our objective, we started this year making a plan, is to have a permanent spot in California. We are going to move to California, a new center, have our East Coast center, and this is our second phase, and then Europe third, because it's about time. We have so many people that come from the West Coast and the Pacific Rim.
Yes.
It's about time we have a presence there.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but please come back. I want to hear about your next book on clothes.
Take care. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.